Hi everyone, welcome to the Tropic Marin channel. My name is Sam Nietzer. I'm a researcher at the University of Oldenburg here in Wilhelmshaven, but also CEO of the recently launched SciReef company. Next to me is Marin. She's also a coral researcher and co-founder of the SciReef LLC, but also my wife. And we're gonna give you a little tour, an update, if you will, what we're doing here, what our plans are, where we are right now. And let me start with saying that I'm sorry we haven't done an English video yet. So I think there's now 2 or 3 German videos about our plans, our projects. So now we're going to do an English one.
Yeah, and there's definitely more English videos coming now.
Yeah,
so we're working on that.
But you know, now we have much more to show. Before we went through here was empty rooms and all that, so it's not that exciting. This is going to be our office, lounge room, whatever you want to call it. Mostly office.
Yeah.
With a little play corner for our little one, because he's going to spend a significant amount of time here, so it's better he likes it. And then we move on to the next one.
There will be a little kitchen here, but this is still in the works. So there's a lot of things that are not done yet, but we're off to a good start already.
Maybe you have seen some videos of our previous, it's not previous, we're still working at the Institute, but the conditions there are a lot smaller. There's no space at all. Here we have a working room. It's kind of a lab space with microscopes, but also for water testing and for building stuff. So it's really nice here.
We just have a lot of space to just work and also keep our stuff organized. That was really lacking in our old facility. It was really hard to find a place where you could put your stuff. So now we have a system.
So now let's move on to the main room. Welcome to our production room. So in this facility here, this is where we're already producing corals through spawning for the aquarium trade, and this is where all that happens. So we get the big corals to spawn, collect the eggs and sperm, produce larvae, have them settle and grow them into corals of marketable size, made in Germany, like actual German corals, if you will. So in this room we have 7 independent aquarium systems that are set up here. 2 of them are running, the 3rd one is cycling, so it's still brand new. So we set up the first ones in September. The first corals came in October, so it was a really tight schedule. That's why it's not everything is finished, basically. That's why there's a lot of cables and stuff hanging
basically
around.
The corals had to be here before electricity or water was here, which was a bit of a challenge. We just now have the electricity running, basically, but you still see a lot of cables where the cables are not supposed to be. This is not going to stay like this.
Well, there was electricity, of course, but not in the way that we wanted it to be. So we had to work a lot with like extension cords and
a lot of extension cords.
Yeah, many extension cords. Many pounds and kilos of extension cords. Well, now we set everything up. 2 systems are running. We have tanks with our first baby corals that are sitting here, growing up, taking up symbionts, and hopefully growing into nice corals that will find or will need to find new homes in the not too distant future. So now we can go through the facilities and have a look at everything, talk about what components we use, talk about components that are arriving right now, talking about lighting and new technologies that we're using here. So we're going to show a lot. We're going to show components, talk about how systems running. The tanks with the babies themselves, they're going to be a little bit pixelated, or the resolution won't be as high because there's a lot of research and development going in. We've been working on that for like 15 years. We came up with new solutions for certain life stages that we're testing out here. Yeah, please excuse that we're not showing everything to the smallest detail in this video. Yeah, what is SciReef? SciReef, the company that we launched this spring, has the aim or works to produce corals through sexual reproduction, through spawning here in Germany.
Both of us are researchers, and we always were interested in how we as humans affect corals, and especially the juvenile corals, the early life stages, what temperature effects, sedimentation, all these kind of things, what they do to juvenile corals. So we basically had to get really good at reproducing corals to do experiments on them. And then we basically had the idea 2015 when we were on Guam doing our experiments and we had like 20,000 juvenile corals in there, and then Sam, being the aquarist, saying, Marin, do you actually know what this would be worth if you would sell these corals on the market? And I had no clue, because for me it was just for research. But basically then the idea was born, like, we should do this. We should produce corals for the aquarium trade in this way, because nobody else is doing it really. It's a really good opportunity, not just because you can produce a lot of corals, but of course you can do it sustainably. Of course, for now we have to import corals, but on the long run we basically are not harming the adult corals. We want to keep those stock corals for a really, really long time, having them spawn every year again. We're not fragging those, so we're just selling the babies that are actually produced here.
All right, so here's one of our broodstock systems. The broodstock is from Australia. They came in on October 3rd. And as you can see, a lot of things are not as detailed, not as fancy as it is going to be in the not too distant future. Everything had to be done quick, right? So the systems came in September, the broodstock corals came in October. So we had about 2.5 weeks from putting water into the tanks to getting the freshly imported acros in here. So everything had to be done quickly with what we have, and we had to make things work, if you will. And it worked out, so that's a good thing. I like these lights, the single reef light bars from Aqua Perfect. They're good lights. It's not the ones we're going to use in the long run, but for now they were perfectly fine. We had made these custom-made PVC-based hanging racks because they had to be set up quick, and that was what was available at the time. And the corals need a lunar cycle to know what day it is, to get them to spawn. They need to spawn at the same time, otherwise you can't fertilize the eggs. So you need to simulate the lunar cycle. And because our technology for simulating the lunar cycle was still in development in China and is still in the phase of being manufactured, it's going to arrive in January. Stefan is here setting up lights. We're going to do a separate video about it, the actual lights that will be set above the tank. So really cool stuff. But the moon for now is basically is a light bulb with a sock on it. So it has the right kelvins, it has the right intensity. So the thing about the sock is that it's like you can regulate it in any way you want, right? If you pull it a bit, then you get more light. Right now the moon is turned off because it was just full moon, so it's gonna start at around 11 p.m. The lights are gonna switch on. But for now, that was functional. When it works, it works. Yeah. You had to adjust it every day, so it had to be reprogrammed every day. But it does work, and you can create a full moon at the full moon, and you can create a very dim moon after new moon, basically. Not everything is makeshift stuff that we have in here, right? We also have some really high-end equipment that is already running. We got the drum filters from Spranger, really nice filters. We're gonna do a separate video, I think, about the filters themselves, how they function, what they're doing, why we're using that. We did a German video about that, but we're gonna do an English video as well. Basically, it's a standard recirculating system with a sump tank and a skimmer. We use the NIOS Quantum skimmer, but for the baby tanks we have Deltec, so we use different brands. We're really happy with these so far. Dosing is the classic bulling system. We use a lot of Tropic Marin products, of course. We're on the Tropic Marin channel. We have a long working relationship. We use the SciReef salt to produce the water. Have been doing so for 8 years now. We're really happy about the constant quality. The main tanks are 2.40 meters long by 55 by 50, so it's quite some space to accommodate quite a few corals. So over time, they hopefully will grow into bigger corals, producing more eggs, giving us more babies, more corals for you. We have some little helpers that I like a lot, our mollies or the big sailfin. You probably know them from freshwater, but they're brackish in nature, but can also go into full salinity, so you can adapt them to 35 PSU with no problem, and they're really good against diatoms. So in freshly started systems, I usually put in quite a lot of these because they eat the diatoms very well. And yeah, they're cool fish. Yeah, you can see all the cords and cables. All of that is going to go. So on top of the shelves, we have electricity now. So all the cables will go through the shelves on top and will then be out of sight, which is also important because we need to be able to block off the lights to not disturb the parent colonies. So right now I took them out, but there is like the shutters you may know from the other videos. At the other facility at the Institute, we have a spawning system where we have 3 independently running systems. One is simulating Australia, one is simulating Fiji, one is simulating Saudi. And each of those have these shutters so they're not interfering with each other.
What kind of pumps are you using?
Oh yeah, good point. Very, very good point. We use only the best pumps. The controller is here. I had to tape it off because that control LED is emitting a little bit too much light for our purposes. But yeah, these are the A200 IPU from Abyss. Very reliable pumps. Hi Alex, good work. Each system is run with a A200. Yeah, I think it's going to be that way forever because you got lifelong guarantee. Basically, the systems are pretty similar to what we have at university. At the university, we also use, in the main facility, we use the Abyss pumps. Here, we use a lot of the Siche. I heard that they can run for 20 years. I haven't had them for 20 years. I'm very happy with them so far. The lights, as I said, right now it's a single reef light bars from Aqua Perfect, but they're going to be switched to the B Ocean from B Specs. We're going to do a separate video about that. They're not on the market yet, but they will be soon. We'll have the first ones installed today. Basically, we had one at the Institute that we tested for half a year, and I'm very happy with that lamp. So I'm really happy to have them hanging here soon. Then the main difference is the first filtration level. It's the drum filter. At the university, we use cloth filters, which work fine as well. But you have to throw out a lot of the cloth. Like once a month, we have to discard quite a lot of the cloth, and it's quite not labor intensive, but it takes time to do it for 7 systems then. So with that self-cleaning drum filter, we will cut the maintenance time quite a bit. We haven't settled on what kind of dosing system we'll use in the long run. These are things are still to be determined. So we got 3 of these broodstock systems that we're going to run on different climate zones. So this one is Australia now, but we're likely going to do Saudi and Fiji or Guam. So we're still flexible in which ecoregion we're going to simulate because the spawnings are on different times of the year. So Australia is right now, basically. If we're lucky, there's going to be another spawning today or in the next days. We had a big one in end of November. So it was a few days after full moon in November was when these guys were like really happy. And that's where the babies came from. And maybe there is another one coming. They're 50 centimeters in height, meaning that the corals can grow big. Like at the Institute, we have some of the broodstock corals are pretty chunky. The bigger the coral, the more healthy the coral, the more eggs you get, basically. That's why we want to have big colonies. And then for the offspring, for the rearing tanks, these are much more shallow, so they're only 30 centimeters in height. We'll have a look in a second. And then we have not 2 levels, but 3 levels. Then we get more area basically per shelf and can accommodate more corals. In the rearing systems, they'll stay for about a year. Depending on species, some of them are faster, some of them are slower, until they reach a marketable size of about golf ball size is what we aim for, and that should be reached after around a year.
We just discovered we have a pet.
I want to call him Gary.
Yeah, so we're gonna need a lot of water for this system. So we have this big tank that is not unwrapped yet. Since we don't have the water pipes as we need them, this is not running yet, but there will be 10,000 liters of seawater that we can mix in here.
Yeah, so in this room here is a really high ceilings. We have actually a truck loading ramp, so it's very convenient for deliveries and for shipping out stuff. In here we're going to mix the water. We're using the Tropic Marin Pro Reef, and we have a little bit of that we already have here. Should last for a while. So yeah, it's going to be mixed in here and then move to the warming tank.
Yeah, we're going to show you
inside.
The warming tank. So this is just where we're going to mix everything. This is where the fresh water comes in, where we dump the big bags of salt in, and then we pump it over to the next room where we warm it up. It comes through those holes in the wall and goes into this tank where we warm the water up, and then there will be pipes all around the room that feeds all our systems with Tropic Marin
I mean,
water.
you say there will be pipes, but they're already here.
Yeah, the pipes are there. That's true. As soon as we have somebody to put the water pipes in here, we can...
No, we are going to do that.
Yeah.
That's going to be us.
Yeah, no, but the water pipes to produce the fresh water.
Yeah,
that we need somebody else to do. We can't do that ourselves.
That is true.
Actually, I'm also a bit surprised how well everything is working, even though half of the things are not running yet. But, well, the corals are happy, so that is the most important thing.
So one thing that became pretty clear through the years of working with the juvenile corals, that these early life stages, they have a higher adaptability than fully developed corals. Like you take from the ocean that have like a fully developed symbiosis with algae, with the zooxanthellae, with bacteria. The animal itself is fully developed, so there is not much wiggle room anymore for new conditions. So imported animals, of course, are quite susceptible to problems, are quite sensitive. But over the years, we could see that the ones that were growing up under aquarium conditions from second one are much more easygoing. Basically, even species that are really hard to keep, like certain acroporids, you can work better with them if they have been grown up under aquarium conditions. Most of you remember there was this COVID thing coming out of nowhere, end of 2019, early 2020, and then traveling was off the menu, basically. But the research had to go on. And luckily, with our partners from Tropic Marin, we had a joint research project at the University of Oldenburg that had the aim to optimize the spawning techniques and the settlement and the rearing of corals with the long-term purpose of using it for the aquarium trade. Within that project, we were able, again thanks to the support of Tropic Marin, to obtain our own ex situ spawning facility that we then had built into a remodeled shipping container, and you can check out that in the video. Where do you usually point when you do video? Here?
Just
okay,
down.
there. Good. Yeah, just click here. Within that project, we could optimize our methods so far. We came to a point where we thought it's worth to take the risk and do the jump out of the research life into commercial life, and that is where we are right now.
We still have jobs at the university, so we are now at a research project. It's called Exist funding that we got through the German government. We're still employed through the university, but the main focus is to work on our research questions to get this company started. It feels really good to finally start this because it has been since 2015 since we had this idea. In contact with Tropic Marin we got 2017, I think.
16, 17.
Yeah, basically where they got some attention that we have a good idea. They also saw our potential, I guess, and we've been working continuously with them. They supported our research. We still had to go a long way to make that step to launch the company. It's been a couple of years since, but we're really thankful to work with them so well together, especially now also the business part of a business. I mean, we are researchers, we are the experts for the corals, but having a business has a lot of business components, and that is extremely helpful to have Tropic Marin as a partner, and they're always just a phone call away, and they give us really, really good advice.
So we had a really, really beneficial relationship with Tropic Marin for a long time, and that is also why you see that video here on the Tropic Marin channel.
Because we're still working really closely together, and we'll continue to do that. Sam was already at the Interzoo this year, so maybe some of you saw the videos or were there in person to see some of our corals from the spawnings from last year and the year before. But now it feels really good. So we had the first big spawning here in our new facility. This is what we've been working towards for such a long time. And it's been really great that we were able to make it work. Even though, of course, we had some technical difficulties, some things were not running, but we were able to set everything up so that the corals were happy. They spawned, and we had a big spawning, and we have a lot of juvenile corals sitting there right now. But they're still at a very, very tiny and fragile stage. So we'll see how many we'll have next year. But it feels really good to get everything started and to actually do what we've been wanting to.
Hectic times for sure, but worth it. Well, thanks for watching till the end. And if you're interested, we'll produce more videos here on this channel about SciReef, about what we do here, about the baby corals, so you can keep updated with how things are going here in Wilhelmshaven. All right, take care, bye-bye.